Well, my family's Mormon, but we're all excommunicated.
What happened?
My dad got us all taken out of the thing. So it was just like, we were like deep. And then when we moved provinces, the church wasn't good here. My dad was like a high deacon or whatever the fuck it was. Or like, we always like sat next to like the bishop's family, like front row shit. Cause it's all like the families, whoever's like up on the stage or whatever, like the families sit in the front rows and shit. When we were about 12 or 13, right around like that time when we started doing like drugs and drinking is when we stopped going to the church. Because that's maybe a part of it too, right? We were like, I never had a Coca-Cola. I never saw a PG rated movie. We only watched G-rated.
Really?
I never saw The Simpsons until I was, you know, like things like that.
So once you got excommunicated from the church, they just...
Well, we took ourselves, my dad, I don't know if excommunicate is the right word.
Left the church.
When we left the church, but because they have so much information on you and your family, like fucking family tree stuff, like it takes a long time to actually get your shit out of there.
What do you mean?
I think they just have like a lot of information on you and your families, and they do a lot of ancestral stuff, right? I would get $2 a week for my allowance, and I would have to give 10% to the church. So we would all, me and my brothers, we would have to take our nickels, and we'd have to give our 10% to the church. Like, just think like that training of like giving the church the money from day one and all that kind of shit. So it was just like, you know, why were we never allowed to like sleep over at other kids' houses or like, you know, like things like little small things that I don't think are crazy. But I think it's definitely like never having like a Coca-Cola and then all of a sudden I'm like doing acid. You know, I'm all gas. You know, like it's just like, I was like, oh cool, we're not Mormons anymore? Let's do some blotter acid.
Sometimes that's what triggers it, right? Is the repression.
At a young age, I strongly felt like there was no heaven. There's 3 levels of heaven in the Mormon, or in the Book of Mormon, right? There's like the celestial, the fucking whatever, and the whatever. Right. There's like 3 levels of heaven. So
there's tears.
There's tears, right? So I was a klepto as a kid. I would like walk into like, you know, a little store and like grab a little thing. Like I remember I stole a jackknife once from like this like, you know, hardware store. Like I would just like take things, you know, a little klepto. And in my head, at a very young age, I was like, I'm never gonna be eternal with my parents. I was like, my parents are like, you know, they did the whole thing with the underwear and they're married forever and like fucking
underwear is wild.
They had to, I think they had to give it back or they had to get rid of it. I don't fucking know. I don't know. Let's FaceTime Steve and be like, what the fuck? So did you have to give the underwear back, Dad?
I still don't understand. Like they have information on you. Like what does that make it hard to leave because they tell you, hey, we know things about you? Like what?
No, I don't think it's like weird like that kind of stuff. I just think it was like just to get our shit out. To be like stricken of the books.
Right, so you don't have to pay them every week.
Once again, there's probably a lot of Mormons watching this that are being like, Matty doesn't know shit. And I don't know shit. I just lived it. I remember my dad and my sister, it was crazy because she had a child out of wedlock. And so that was like a thing where I think it was like, I don't even know. I think there was like a thing where she got like a piece of paper saying she had to go in front of like a tribunal.
Oh boy.
And like, you know, explain herself or or maybe she was getting excommunicated. I still forget. It's kind of fuzzy. I remember when the missionaries showed up and it was almost like they served her like papers or some shit. And I remember my older brother almost like beat the shit out of these missionaries. You know, one of those kind of things, like get off our porch, get the fuck out of here.
Serving you papers, you violated.
I don't know. Religion's fucked. Like that's the thing is like I don't like a lot of.
Well, that is the wackiest religion.
It's the wackiest, right?
Yeah,
I know. Of course, I'm a part of it.
It's like other than Scientology.
I was baptized.
It's the wackiest one.
It's the wackiest one, right?
They know the guy who made it up, and he was
We used to go to the hill where he found the Book of Mormon, and they used to redo the event, and we would visit the jail where he was like murdered.
How old was he when they killed him?
In his 20s? John Smith, right? John Smith?
Joseph
Smith.
He invented it when he was 14 years old.
Let's go. That's incredible. That's like now. That's like a TikToker. You know, everyone just follows TikTok. Same shit.
I just can't imagine a 14-year-old that's not full of shit. You know, like a 14-year-old that tells you a story like that and everybody's like, wow.
He's like, let's go.
You met angels?
What are they like? They were beautiful?
You have golden tablets?
I love a golden tablet.
With the last work of Jesus?
Jesus.